Your Job Wrestling Hour with your host, the ConKaiserdor and old school Avis Hathaway. Pin me, pay me, do your job. Pin me, pay me, do your job. Pin me, pay me, do your job. Pin me, pay me, do your job.
The heat is on the street, inside your head, on every beat, and the beats are alive, deep inside. The pressure's high, just to stay alive.
This is the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour. I am the ConKaiserdor, and alongside with me is old school Avis Hathaway, and we have new 2012 NBA Champions of the World, your Miami Heat. We have a great show tonight here as we're going to talk all about the Miami Heat's big win against Oklahoma City, and also we have a great show lined up as in just a little bit we will be speaking with our special guest, a true original, Maxwell Chicago. So before we step into the Lounge Lizards world, let's talk about the NBA Finals and the Miami Heat's big victory. Old Avis Hathaway, Bud, let's talk about the Miami Heat.
Let's talk about the Heat. We got a lot to get to tonight, wrestling, of course, but we'd be remiss to not start off with the wonderful victory by the Miami Heat, taking out the Oklahoma City Thunder in 5 games. Very, very excited for that. Very excited for LeBron to get that first ring and hopefully shut up a lot of his critics.
Indeed, I am so glad. What a night. What a night. I've already watched the last 5 minutes of that game probably a dozen times now.
You know, it was a great game, and the thing is, the series was so close, a lot closer than a 4-1 series. A couple bounces either way. It could have been a 3-1 series for Oklahoma City. So it was a little fun to watch a game get out of control and just be a blowout like that, at least for my heart's sake, because, you know, it was tight on my heart watching these games come down to the wire each night. It was nice to see the Heat, you know, get some separation.
Absolutely, and what was also nice is I've won a lot of lunches. I bet several people from the office, and let's just say I'm going to be fed for a good month straight. There's a lot of haters out there, a lot of Heat haters, even after they won. Even after they won the finals and LeBron was not once MVP but twice MVP, people still can't keep their trap shut.
Well, that's the thing, is everybody hates LeBron for some reason, and I feel bad for the guy because the guy's really never done anything wrong. You know, it's not like he gets arrested, shows up in police blotters or rap sheets. He's a good guy. He gives to the community. People just, they hate him for coming to the Heat the way he left Cleveland. And you know what? If I was from Cleveland, I'd want to leave too. Sorry, Clevelanders out there, but it's true. Who would rather be in Cleveland than Miami? You know, he came down here. They did work. They got their first ring, and people are already talking. All right, great. When's the second ring going to come? You know, he can't win more than 1 ring a year, so you got to give him time.
That's true. Now, wait a second. Before you shitbag Cleveland, one of my favorite trauma stars, Toby Radloff, who is Killer Nerd, he's from Cleveland, so let's not shit on Cleveland completely.
Well, you know, there's a video out there. In fact, if you haven't seen it, anybody who hasn't seen it, it's called a hastily made Cleveland tourism video. There's 2 of them. Go ahead and YouTube and find those. They're absolutely hilarious, and they kind of sum up the spirit of Cleveland.
I have not seen those, but I'm sure that they are quite amusing there. So, huge win for the Miami Heat. I am so excited. I should have my 2012 NBA Champions T-shirt arriving very soon on Friday. I was so ecstatic. I don't think I've ever been so happy about a basketball game in my life.
Yeah, I was very excited. As everybody knows, I am a Magic fan. That's my number 1 team. But as I've told the ConKaiserdor, he never wants to seem to understand, I root for the Heat. The Heat are like my 1B team. And especially now, I've been rooting for the Heat since everybody's hating them so much. I was really rooting for him, and I wanted LeBron to get that ring. So I'm glad he did. I also want to congratulate the Thunder, though. They were absolutely nothing but classy in defeat. They didn't storm off the court. They didn't pout and cry. They went over. They shook hands. They were very respectable about it. So, I do like to see that as well.
It's always a good thing to see good sportsmanship. That's one of the things you get from hockey, which really separates it from a lot of other sports, is that sportsmanship at the end of a series. And I thought it was very nice to see the Heat in Oklahoma kind of have that sportsmanship at the end of the game. And, at the same time, Oklahoma City, they're a young team. They have so many years where they have opportunities to win the championship. I don't feel sorry for them, not one bit.
No, I don't. You brought up the hockey. I agree with you on that. I love the handshake at the end of the hockey series. It's the greatest tradition in sports to me. But, the Thunder they're all 22, 23, 24-year-old guys. If they keep that team together, you could see maybe a LeBron Durant rivalry like you saw back in the 80s with Magic and Bird and the Lakers Celtics. You could see that with the Heat and Thunder, because the Heat are not going to go anywhere, and I don't think the Thunder is going to go anywhere.
That's a good point. And I want to get back to something real quick that you brought up here. You brought up hockey, and we never officially mentioned on the show how the L.A. Kings beat the New Jersey Devils in the Stanley Cup. You've kind of been hiding from that, Old School.
Actually, no, I haven't been hiding. It hasn't come up. I'm happy to talk about that. It was a great series. The Kings jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the series, and everybody wrote the Devils off. The first two games were extremely close, down to the puck. They could have gone either way. The third game, the Kings won pretty handily, but then the Devils went into L.A., extended the series, gave me a little bit of hope, came back to Jersey, gave me a lot more hope winning that game, so it was 3-2. Went back to L.A. and lost the most poorly officiated hockey game I've ever seen. And this isn't just me speaking in Homer terms. I mean, you have Ed Olczyk, who is a Ranger, calling the game, sitting there talking about how these referees should be ashamed of themselves for the penalties they're calling. I mean, it was a terrible game. I was very pissed off at the time. It is what it is. Congratulations to the Kings on winning the Cup. The referees had a whole lot to do with that.
I was quite glad about that, and I just found it funny that you haven't brought it up since we've been back on the air, and it just makes sense that you're a typical Devils fan just hiding from people when you know that I had to read some ridiculous speech on the air, which really bothered me, but in the end, I'm kind of glad I read it, and I hope people go back and listen to that show. That was our Dab Savage, Johnny Romano 90s trivia show. Listen to that speech and now know that the Devils tapped out to the Kings.
They did, and the Rangers tapped out to the Devils, so where does that leave them? The point is, though, I'm not hiding for it. It was a poorly officiated game for Game 6. Chances are the Kings very well may have won the game anyway, but there was some terrible, terrible, terrible penalties called that pretty much put the Devils in a hole right from Jump Street. And, it is what it is. We've got 3 cups. It's not like it was their, only shot at one. They'll be back again, so... hey, it was a great year. I was excited for it, but unfortunately they couldn't get it done this year.
You are listening live to the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour on Blog Talk Radio. If you want to call into the show, you can at 714-694-4101. Also, jump into our chat room, which is available on our Blog Talk page at blogtalkradio.com/doyourjob. Make sure you are our fan on Facebook. Just search the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour. We are right there. And also follow us on Twitter at DoYourJob _ between the J.O.B. And you can keep up on all the updated Do Your Job news. We have all kinds of good stuff about our guests upcoming and all that other great stuff here on the show, Old School. We're going to take a quick break, though. You know why, Old School?
What's that?
Why is that? Because we're about to get lounge. We're about to get lounge style here in the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour with the lounge lizard himself, Maxwell Chicago. He's going to be joining us in just a little bit here, so don't go anywhere. When we return, we're going to be back with Maxwell Chicago right here live on the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour on Blog Talk Radio.
Don't tap out, tweet out. We're on Twitter at Do Your Job with underscores after the J.O.B. Like us on Facebook, and we'll be your friend with benefits. It's the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the superstar soul, Bobby Sanford. It's getting out of control. You're listening to the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour. Don't stop. Get it, get it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Load up, and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend. She's overboard, she's self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello, hello, hello.
Let's welcome to the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour, making his debut on the show, Maxwell Chicago. Maxwell, thanks for being with us tonight.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen, for having me. I hope that the couple minutes you started off the show, you didn't scare too many, listeners away. I'm here to get them back.
Well, we did talk about the Heat, which I know you're a Bulls fan, and as well as other Chicago teams as well. We have plenty of time on the show to talk about the lack of winning in Chi-Town, so don't you worry.
Oh, wow, we're starting off on a really bad foot already. Really bad foot. And before we even start, I have a few things to say. First off, LeBron is never going to be as good as Michael Jordan, okay? Until he has 7 rings on 7 fingers, Michael Jordan will always be better than LeBron. Second off, for all these callers that are supposedly calling in, my mother's listening, so I don't want to hear any cussing or any – I know there's an Englishman out there who is going to call in and ruin this whole conversation. And it really upsets me because I'm trying to be a professional here. That's what I am. And I'm an entertainer, professional.
You're right.
That's what's lacking out there.
And I hope while you're doing this interview, you have a martini glass with an olive in it as you're doing the interview.
It's a non-alcoholic martini. It's a chocolate martini, actually.
That's good. That's good. So we'll make sure that our show is. We'll try to make it PG-13 for you and your mom tonight. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And, I know you guys had West Briscoe last week, and the ratings just shot high. This show, we're going to shoot high, and, and that's not going to be because of my father. My father sells insurance, so he's not going to have – we're not going to have Gerald Briscoe numbers out here. But if there's any, insurance and, aficionados, they can call in, they can ask me about some stuff. I know a few things, picked up a few things from my father.
Very cool. Now, I kind of want to get to something that I saw on Facebook first. You had posted a lot of pictures of yourself looking pretty battered and bruised with a nasty black eye. What happened to you?
Well, I mean, it's not an interesting story, but I should make it an interesting story. One of your former guests, Lince Dorado, doing his little lucha libre low-class fighting, whatever he does off the top rope, and he caught me with a boot to the eye. And don't think that I'm not thinking about giving him a little payback, because I'm going to rip that mask off and give him his own facial scars so he can't even take it off in the bosom of his family.
So you're saying
Lince
Lince
keep that mask on anyway. He's the poster boy for, birth control, so he should keep that mask on at all times.
So you're saying Lince Dorado is responsible for giving you that nasty black eye?
A cat toe to the boot to the face.
Well, we actually have a follow-up from the chat room from Ed Stackhouse. He wants to know how much you've picked up from losing to Lince Dorado.
Let me tell you, don't ever listen to Ed Stackhouse, okay? This guy, speaking of crazy people, I'm noticing all over the world there's freaking insane people, not just in wrestling, outside of wrestling. People are just nuts. No matter who I talk to, I know we're supposed to be talking about wrestling, but everybody, I just went to Maine and I just been to Oregon. It doesn't change. No matter where I go, everybody is insane. So don't worry about anything Ed Stackhouse has to say. It's one of those guys who looks at a menu and says, okay, takes a walk and eats a pothole.
Well, you bring up that you were in Oregon and Maine. You've worked kind of all over the map. Where is your favorite place to work, and where do you feel the Maxwell Chicago character is best received?
I have a ton of fun pretty much wherever I go because I'm always the life of the party. But I had a lot of fun in Maine. Just did my first trip to Oregon. That was so much fun. But I think my best trips are going back to Chicago. And the shows I've been doing up there were lucha shows. And for some reason, don't tell me why, a lot of Hispanic, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, they love Maxwell Chicago. And they're just, they're great. I love working in front of a lucha crowd. I hope to do more lucha shows in the future. It's just so easy and fun to work with. And, the only thing is people start flying around the ring and stuff, and they want to do, like Lince Dorado wants to do all this crazy stuff. And I have to try to keep up with these guys. And I'm just, I'm a lounge singer. I'm trying to be entertaining. These guys are trying to be athletes.
Well, that kind of brings me to my next question, because the Lounge Lizard character you have, it's kind of polarizing for a lot of fans. A lot of people love you, a lot of people hate you. Was that kind of calculated when you kind of took on that persona, or did that just kind of happen?
Well, I've been a singer my entire life. If you want to know the real story, me and my significant one were in a car once, and she wasn't paying attention to me. And so I started singing, and I thought I sounded great, which I still do. Everybody thinks I sound great. And she stopped the car and said, you're the most annoying singer I've ever heard in my entire life. And I was like, that's not true. So now this is a mission. I'm on a mission to show the world I am one of the best singers. I'm like a male Celine Dion. I sound exactly like that, I just did a one-nighter in Jacksonville, and she was lovely. And I sang for them, and they all thought I was the best singer too. So it's everybody likes me except for one person. So nobody really hates me.
Well, we'll have to test out your singing skills later, as when we ask you to do a drop for the show. We hope that you're going to sing us a little something.
I'll see what I can do. I get all copyrights, infringements, rights to my voice are all, I need all the royalties.
We'll have to work out a deal under the table here. Now,
off the air.
Off the air, exactly. We'll work it out through text messaging. Now, I know you've done a lot of work with FUW, who runs every Tuesday night at Gasoline Alley in Largo, Florida. That's Florida Underground Wrestling for those that are not familiar with it. What is it about FUW that makes it special and unique to you? And can you give your thoughts on why you feel it attracts fans?
I think I would say probably right now the top organization in Florida. Ring Warriors just starting off. They sound like they're really going to be really big. But right now I think it's FUW all the way. These guys are not only having this show every Tuesday in Largo, it seems like every weekend it's a different town. And they're going north, they're going south. I hear they might go out of the state soon. And they have a core roster of guys that there's so much talent. There's like Bruce Santee is the heavyweight champion. I don't even need to say anything else. You guys have Bruce on the show. People know who Bruce is.
Right.
Fiasto goes, Cahagas, he's like the NWA champion of the world or North America.
He's a national heavyweight champion.
That too. And you got just a bunch of great guys over there, and it's only going to get better. They take everyone, but sometimes the guys they do take show up to be very good, and then sometimes, they give everyone a chance, is what I'm trying to say. And I tell all these guys who are just starting out, head over to FUW. If there's not a spot, help out with the show. And they reward everybody that comes to help out, and you'll get a chance. Now, and then the biggest problem is, and I think it's a problem with almost every organization for it, it's like nobody's really exclusive. Everybody gets a chance, no matter, they don't even check credentials anymore. And there's a couple guys out there that, they can just kill a show or kill a locker room. And, FUW is great because we try to, locker room leaders like Cuban, Assassin, and Bruce Santee, those guys are just, awesome. But, and then,
right.
I'm just saying, anybody who wants a chance should go over there because they give everybody a chance.
I wanted to ask you spent a lot of time working in North, Central, and South Florida. That's quite a bit there, kind of covering the entire state. What are some of the differences between these areas, and do you prefer one to the other?
I don't know if I have a preference. I know I'm one of the only guys who goes constantly to each region. I know a couple guys will stop by North Florida or stop by South Florida. Maybe go once every 3 months or once every 6 months. I go all three places pretty regularly. I would say that both quality and quantity. Like there's in North Florida, it's really hard to find good shows and good talent. But when you do, it's really good. There's this kid, Rex Andrews, up there who's just starting out, and you can already tell that he's going to be really good if he sticks with it. But, there's a couple other guys, but, like, not even a handful, and they just stick out like sore thumbs. And I don't want to put everybody down, but everybody goes on this show and, like, puts everybody over. I want it to be different. Hopefully, if you guys get hate mail, I guess that's still good because people are listening.
Right. Nothing wrong with hate mail.
And then in South Florida, there's a whole bunch of guys, and they all come out of a couple schools down there. I'm so happy. Pablo Marquez, anybody who wants to start off in wrestling in South Florida, find out where Pablo Marquez's school is and go there immediately, and you can train with him, and that's the best school down there. And I heard it was a really nice establishment and a really nice gym. But just like North Florida, there's only a handful of guys, but you find a couple good ones out there. And working with Pablo, and then Johnny Vando's down there too, and he's really good. And Chris Jones, and Bobby Sanford, who you guys, I like that little segue on the commercial there with Bobby. I thought it was funny. A lot of guys come out of Orlando, and they're really good. Mike Cruz is awesome. And a lot of great guys come out of the Tampa area. I would say they probably have the leg up Central Florida, but I like to keep going to all three regions and seeing new people, and I give everybody a chance. Like, if somebody asks me to watch their match, I'll watch their match, and it's just hard because a lot of people just don't care. They're just doing it, and it's ruining it for everybody else.
Yeah, Pablo's school, by the way, is the Main Event Training Center down here in South Florida. Now it's in Fort Lauderdale. He's doing an affiliation with, I think, CCW and NWA Ring Warriors. So, yeah, definitely check that out. FUW, we were kind of talking about before, they have a really great talented roster, and you were kind of talking how you've been all over Florida and elsewhere. But is there anyone out there that you haven't worked with yet that you're really looking forward to working with or you'd like to?
I don't know. I think I've worked – it sounds cocky, but I think I've worked with everybody I wanted to work with. And that's, again to FUW, which is, like, thanks to them, like, I've worked a lot. So many people that I wanted to work with, Nui Lee, Lindsay Dorado, Bruce, and just like I said, I hate to keep saying it, but, like, if you want to be a wrestler, come out and help out that show. I used to come, not be on the card or be on the, undercard, and then I wound up main eventing with, Jay Liesel and Bruce and guys like that, Michael Tarver, people like that. No, I haven't wrestled Chris Gray. Who is probably the most talented wrestler in Florida that doesn't wrestle. Actually, him and Bobby Sanford are the two best wrestlers. I've wrestled Bobby a bunch of times. But Chris Gray and Bobby Sanford, those two guys, like, they don't need wrestling in Florida. Wrestling in Florida needs those two guys. I wish Chris, I don't think he stopped wrestling, but he doesn't come out that much. And, I can't blame him, but if he ever does come back out, I'd love to wrestle him. Like I said, I don't know. You guys should have him on the show because he can tell you. I've learned so much from him and Tommy Taylor just by training with them before shows, just for a half hour and talking with them.
When do you think you will defeat Cahagas?
I think I'm 0-12 against him. Let me tell you something. I'm 0-12. I'm 0-12 against Cahagas. I'm like 0-10 against Titan. I'm 0-9 against Nui Lee. I think I'm 0-20 against Lindsay Dorado. But I do have a win over Bruce Santee, which not many people could say.
No, that is pretty big. That's a pretty big win.
Have you seen Bruce Santee?
Yeah, we met Bruce several times.
That dude is huge, and I took care of him like nothing.
Yeah.
Simple. He doesn't listen to the show, right?
Sometimes.
Well, it was, what's the next question?
It's funny because speaking of Bruce Santee, I want to tell a story that I think it's quite funny that we talked about before the show, and that is when we did finally get to meet Bruce face to face after we already did the interview with him and such. we met him at the Slackers Bar after the Ring Warriors show, the last one they had in late March. And we were talking about, the show and, maybe some possible guests to have on in the future. And he mentions, you got to have on Maxwell Chicago. This guy is, one of the top indie guys out there, and, you got to have him on the show. And he's raving about you. Well, I come to find out just a little, maybe a few days ago, that you were right there during that conversation, and it's as if Bruce was talking about you as if you weren't even there.
I was in it. Yeah, that was our plan. I was in his other ear. It's easy to hide behind him. He's like a tree trunk. But,
he is.
No, I was there, and Bruce I've probably Bobby Sanford and Bruce have been the two guys who both of the BSs were anything but. Those guys have taught me so much. Bruce has taught me a lot in and outside of the ring. I haven't been in any fist fights lately because I hang around Bruce. And I just learned so much in wrestling and in real life. Same thing from Bobby. And, Bruce put this little team together of Team Santee, me and Nick Fame and Jesse Sorensen and Bruce leading us. And, I love all those guys. And Jesse got signed and left us all behind. And, no, he didn't. But we're so happy for him. And Nick Fame is going to be the next big deal. He's going to be signed soon. And Bruce is the best heavyweight in Florida, and I come out in a spandex tuxedo.
Well, hopefully you'll be on that list at some point, too, as we definitely think that your character is something quite unique and special. If you are listening live to the show, you can call in at 714-694-4101. Talk to Maxwell Chicago live on the air tonight, and also jump into our chat room, which is available on our Blog Talk page at blogtalkradio.com/doyourjob. Let me ask you another question here, Maxwell, because, there are a lot of folks in the business who praise you for your talent and character, while there's some others who turn the other cheek. What do you want to say to your admirers, and how would you respond to your critics?
Before we go any further, are you reading these off a sheet of paper, or are these coming off the top of your head?
That's for me to have here. You just worry about responding.
You sound like Mark Summers from Double Dare,
Hey, you know what? That's not a bad guy to sound like, so I'll take that as a compliment.
What was the question? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked by the physical challenge.
Oh, wow. That's a good
people who like me, everyone likes me. Actually, you know what? That's not true. When people first meet me, everybody that first meets me doesn't like me. And they're like, man, this kid's annoying. And then once they spend a little time with me, they still don't like me, but they tolerate me more. Fans-wise, everybody likes me. When they boo me, it's really not boo. It's like Chicago is what they do. It's a little thing I made up. And so I don't ever really get, boos in the crowd. People who don't like me in the wrestling-wise, I've had a lot of people say they don't like the tuxedo, which I don't know. I think it's very becoming. It's Versace. Everybody likes it except for a few. And I'm lucky enough to have meet a couple cool people, and if they don't like me, there's nothing I can do. I don't know what to do, I don't know how to get Paul Jones to like me, God bless him. I don't know how to get Cahagas to like me. That's a good one. How do I get Cahagas to like me? I've not figured that out. In fact, everybody on the indie scene should try to get Cahagas to like him. It's not going to happen. He's kind of like Hitler. He doesn't like anybody.
Well, he likes us.
Well,
that's like us.
I don't know, because Cahagas will act like he likes you.
No, I think he really does like us.
Maybe one gets a victory over him.
No. Well, maybe he says he likes me, but I know it's just it's like as soon as I walk away, he's like, man, I wish this kid would get into a car wreck on the way to the show sometime.
You brought up Double Dare. You brought up Double Dare. By the way, they're bringing that back. I don't know if you saw that. I just want to throw that in there.
Again?
Yeah, they're bringing back another incarnation of Double Dare.
Well, they should bring back Mark Summers, or maybe you could host it.
Actually, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because maybe I should audition for that role. Maybe I can audition for the next season of Unwrapped while I'm at it.
you could drop this lucrative blog talk radio practice you have going that puts tons of money in your pocket, and you could use it as a reference.
I could.
Flash, and then they'll want to sample. And then they'll listen to this interview, and you'll get the job. That last question was bad. We need a better question. Give me a better question here.
You were trained to some degree with Brian Knobs. He kind of gets a certain bad rap. A lot of people kind of have negative things to say about Brian Knobs. Talk a little bit about training with him and what the experience is for somebody who actually knows him a little bit.
First off, I was trained by Mari Giannetti and Bobby Sanford. I trained with them for a couple of years, and then when I did move down here, Brian Knobs had just opened his school, and I got a chance to go there, and I still go there every once in a while. It's a great school. They have a WWE ring, which is huge. And Brian, he's not bad. He's never shown up inebriated. No, that's not a lie. He's never shown up. He shows up. No, he's a good help sometimes, or all the time, I should say. He's a great help, and he just doesn't bump as much as he used to. You know, he's getting old, and but he has a lot of knowledge that he's helping a lot of people out. I mean, there's a bunch of guys who go to that school that he's helped out, and I love that school because that's how I met Jesse. Jesse's my boy, and it's a good place to train. Brian just doesn't get in the ring that much anymore, just because his back and hip and other stuff that just keeps him out of the ring. He hasn't. I mean, and he's real strict. If you get out, if you're doing something stupid, he'll start yelling. There'll be a yell fest. Probably the yelling was what I'll say is the worst part. Yeah, everything else is a good part. Trying to get Tommy Taylor over there to train. I'm sure he'd love it. Oh, and Chris Gray. Love those two proper Englishmen to come train with Brian Knobs.
Very cool. We're going to go ahead and move in to something we like to call the name game. Now, the rules are really simple. All we're going to do is throw out a word or a phrase to you. You can respond with the first one that comes to mind, or you can share a story. You can go off on a tangent if you'd like. Whatever you want to do, these are your questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Just don't make them these I heard Lynn Serrato got a bunch of bad questions on the name game, so I don't want any Lynn Serrato questions.
One of the questions we asked him that we're not going to ask you was mask versus paint, which you don't wear either or. But you know what? We'd like to see you with paint.
And didn't you ask him a Pokemon question? There's a lot of Pokemon fans out there listening to Do Your Job Radio.
Negative. We asked no sort of those kinds of questions, so no. No, must have been the wrong show.
I don't want any sexual questions either. I just met you guys, so you got to take me out to dinner and a movie if you want to find out that stuff.
All right, well, we'll keep that in mind then. All right, so the first one we're going to give you is Francisco Ciazzo, the King of Florida.
I said no sexual questions. No. That's an interesting one to start off with. I like Frankie. Frankie pretends to like me. No, I think Frankie really likes me. It's hard to impress these guys. Some of these guys are just hard to impress. Like Frankie and Cahigas. No matter what you do, I mean, you're falling short. And you try to go out there and do your best because you want to. That's how you're going to get better. You go out there and you say, "Hey, Frankie, will you watch my match?" Hey, Cahigas, will you watch my match? The reason I think I got better, if I have got better, is because Bruce has watched so many of my matches, and it's such a hard chore to get Bruce to watch anything that doesn't involve women. So I try to get a cute girl by the ring every time Bruce watches one of my matches, just so I can, just so he can lie to me at least. I try to get two women, I should say, because Bruce takes them two at a time, and he dunk them in milk and. That's what Bruce does, but Frankie's cool. He's big on the Orlando crew, and I'm not in Orlando, so Frankie's cool. Next one.
All right, let's move on to the next one here, and that is your most awkward ring moment.
Okay, let me think about this one. I got a good one. I was in Maine. Let me tell you what, Maine is not like Earth. Maine is a different planet. The state of Maine, okay, or maybe it is Earth. But when you go to Maine, the people are crazy, and not in a good way. I stayed with this. I'm not even gonna go into that story, but anyway, so I'm in a 4-way with like Chris Hamrick and 2 wrestlers from Maine, and we're wrestling along, and one guy decides that he needs to throw up during the match, and he's on the top turnbuckle, and he just gets down from the turnbuckle and starts throwing up. I look at one of the other kids from Maine. Don't worry, he does this all the time. Oh, he does it all the time. That makes it okay. And of course, I get thrown out of the ring, and I don't want to go much into it, but what do you think I land in? I land in this kid's vomit outside of the ring. When I'm in my Versace tuxedo, I run to the back, and the guy in charge, I say, outside now. And he goes, what's the matter? I go, I got puke on me. He goes, stop being such a prima donna.
Okay. That does sound...
In any other state, you landed puke. Oh, it's gross. It's gross. This is gross. This kid comes at me like, you're being a prima donna. Oh, it's just a little vomit. Wipe it off. Get back in there. I'm a 5-star entertainer, and I got lunch on me.
That does qualify as awkward. Next one I'm going to give you is Craig Classic.
I can go all day on some Craig Classic. First off, I don't know what happened to Craig Classic. Like, he goes to Japan. God bless him. And I guess now he can't speak English anymore because now he speaks like a Japanese person who doesn't know English but is trying. Oh, I go to gym. and train with. Wish I was in Florida. Want to see hockey. Stuff like that. But I hope he's having fun over there. Everybody likes him. Oh, I challenged the kid to a shoot fight, and this is how tough I am, by the way. I challenged him to a shoot fight, and he's, oh, my ankles hurt, man. I can't do that stuff. I was just gonna roll around, I'm not sounding like I hate him. It's not like I'm jealous of him. I don't care. I can go to Japan if I want to, too.
Next one I'm going to give you is
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done. My bad. I apologize. Continue.
No, we could be done. We could be done on Craig. Craig's a cool guy. And the only thing I don't like about Craig is he doesn't change for anybody, which I guess is good for him. I don't know. If you go certain places, I think you should just try to entertain everybody, and Craig just does his own thing, and that's good because he's talented. He's got a lot of talent. God bless him. Have I said that? Have I said God bless Craig Classic enough?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that after this interview, I'm going to be getting a call from Craig Classic saying, I heard the interview. Very mad what you said. I know get you book on Fusion Show.
Next one I'm going to give you is Marty Jannetty.
I owe everything to Marty. When I heard about, as I was on my way to stardom as a lounge singer, my mom was actually the one that pointed me out, like a newspaper clipping, wrestling school, and I probably wouldn't have never went. And then I heard, head trainer Marty Jannetty, and then I was like, I have to go now. And it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. He was such a nice guy, and we trained hard. And the only thing that Marty didn't do was didn't yell at us like Knobs did, which we probably needed. But he spent a long time with me working on everything, and he would always tell me about entertaining the crowd, not just about what you can do in the ring. And that's why I try to separate myself, because there's a lot of guys in Florida doing, characters. I got a marching band guy, I got a guy who dresses up like a butler, all these crazy characters. But I want to be that guy who can also go in the ring and do 20 minutes with Lindsay Dorado and blow everybody's mind that I can keep up with a guy with that much talent like Lindsay. And the reason I can is because Marty was teaching us not only to be good in the ring, but to take care of that crowd too. So they're going to want to buy a ticket to come back. And a lot of personal attention that he gave me. Be a lot of practices where it was just me, him, and Bobby, And that's why if anybody thinks I'm good, it's because those practices was just me, him, and Bobby. So
I'm going to give you another one here, and that is TNA.
I like TNA. Give me, well, you just got to give me a job. They got a guy dressed up as a shark that was big for a while. So how about a guy who is in a spandex tuxedo,
We actually had Shark Boy on.
Oh, sweet. I love Shark Boy. I love Shark Boy.
We had him on the show.
Good. That's awesome. I'm going to go back. I never listened to you guys until you wanted to interview me. No offense.
Come on. How dare you?
I was going to listen to, I listened to Lindsay's, but you guys were asking such stupid questions, I turned it off.
Oh, my God. Well, thanks for your honesty and being so candid with us. I mean, we appreciate that. Actually, if you go back and listen to our Shark Boy interview, the show has evolved quite a bit since then. I mean, we started the show back in September of 2010, and it's come a long way from the very first show up until this interview right now. So you'll probably hear a lot of differences.
Well, you went from talking to a shark to talking to a human being, so I guess you have evolved. No, I like TNA. I really like. Well, Jesse's not on now; he got hurt. But I was watching every time, just to see how my boy Jesse was doing. I love Austin Aries, although Austin Aries hates me. I say that about everybody. I love the Ultimate Warrior, who's not on TNA. I love the Honky Tonk Man, who's not on TNA. What's the next question?
The next question is going to be influences in the wrestling business.
If you could combine my parents, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Frank Sinatra, Rodney Dangerfield, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Scott Norton, and Honky Tonk Man, and stir it for about 20 minutes, and then you sprinkle in Ultimate Warrior and Bobby Sanford and Paprika, and those are pretty much my influences in wrestling. Oh, and
not bad,
and women,
not bad.
Women because every time I go out, all the girls go crazy. You want to hear a true story? I actually have to get like some sort of security. I mean, and you guys are going to be like, no, this is just him. He's doing his character. I need like a Ralphus from WCW or something because I'm meeting like, and it's seriously, they're not pretty. Some of them are very pretty, but they're all insane. All these girls trying to talk to me, and I'm taken. I'm a taken man. So I'll let you. I mean, I appreciate it. This is what I say for all the girl listeners out there. Keep it with the compliments. But that's about it. Shouldn't have gone threesies. That's all I'll say about that.
All right, I'm going to again throw one more at you here, and that is tell your fans an unknown fact about you that would surprise them.
I told you, man, nothing sexual. You know I'm Cuban, right?
What?
I'll let you figure that out in your head. No. See, you figured it out. Oh. I know what you're saying.
You know what? Look. We didn't imply anything sexual. Apparently, you might want to get into that topic. And this is a PG-13 show tonight because your parents are listening here.
Yeah, am I the only one that hasn't been cussing crazy? Do the other guys cuss a lot? Does Wes Briscoe throw the F-bomb around?
I don't think
Wes
he
did so much.
No, not really.
Bruce did. I'm sure Frankie will. Oh, Bruce. Oh yeah. Bruce did. Frankie. I think
Bruce. Red Devil Fight Team. Yes, they a lot of profanity there.
Talk about those are some other guys who hate everybody, but they're Russians. They haven't been happy since Mussolini or something like that. But what was unknown fact about me? Everybody knows I don't have really any secrets. What you see in the ring is what you get. When I'm outside of the ring, I'm not as I get kind of shy, sorta. I like to be romanced. I like
wined and dined.
Yeah, I like to be wined and dined, stuff like that. I got a great one. I have discovered and founded so many things. Coldplay. Nobody knew who Coldplay was until I started telling everybody, hey, you got to start paying attention to this band. They're going to be big one day. And a lot of people don't like Coldplay, but I knew they were going to be big. Nobody knew who they were. They're just a garage band in London or something. I heard something overseas, and I came back. This is a true story. And I came back. I wrote everybody, told everybody, MTV to Coldplay. Okay? And then Coldplay blew up. Same thing with Emery. That's for the punk rock kids. I'm not going to go long on that one. Okay. Lunchables. You know Lunchables?
Yeah, they taste like shit.
Yes, they're delicious.
I discovered Lunchables was my idea. I would go to lunch at a communist Cuban school that my father would send me to because he wanted me to learn Spanish, which never succeeded. And my mom would pack me meat, cheese, and crackers in 3 different bags. And I would tell my mom, hey, put them all in one bag. And that is where Lunchables came from. People were noticing what I was doing. And then they're like, oh, you know what? That's a great lunch idea for kids. Lunchables.
So we can directly relate the success of Coldplay and Lunchables to Maxwell Chicago.
I got another great idea for people who are alcoholics, so pay attention because I know you guys like to hit the sauce. I saw you at Slackers. Everybody as a child loves snow cones, okay? Now you grow up, you like alcohol. So this is what you do. This is like a plastic snow cone. Because what happens when you eat a snow cone? It's a paper cup. See, we're going to lose some listeners here. Okay, you get a snow cone and a paper cup. What happens? It melts, the bottom breaks, and it drips all down your arm, right? Is that a true story?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get a plastic cone and a shot glass that screws in and out of the bottom of it, right? And you put your alcoholic snow cone, and you're eating it, and it's melting, right? But there's that shot glass catching all the alcohol. You unscrew it, and then boom, you got a shot. That's a new idea I came up with. That's going to be big somewhere because somebody's going to patent that before I can get that out.
Sounds like a great idea.
Fun dips. I had the idea for fun dips. Like, everybody was eating pixie sticks. You know, I was like, you know what? There should be a sugar stick you scoop it with. And then what happened? Willy Wonka comes up with fun dips. Where's my check, Willy Wonka? You guys think this is funny, but these are real things. Real things. Nobody would have knew about Coldplay, okay? Nobody would be hearing Yellow on the radio.
They're terrible.
Whatever. Check their awards and music.
Oh, come on. We all know the Grammy Awards is a sham. I mean, all that stuff on that is a bunch of crap. We know that.
In a way, I also discovered the Big Mac, but I knew the Big Mac was already out, you see. But I was having sandwiches, and I was like, why don't you put an extra piece of bread between the meats? And then Big Mac just took off. Now I was born in '85, so '86.
We have a caller on the line who's been dying to talk to Maxwell Chicago. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, you got the Stack Man here from Largo, Florida. I'm here to talk to Maxwell Chicago. Oh, yeah, let me tell you something. I don't even know where to start. First of all, hearing you talk about being on Double Dare earlier on, let me tell you something. That would work out just perfect for you because your wrestling is a mess, brother. I'm telling you. Second of all, I can't believe you're taking lessons from Bruce Santee. Oh, my God, the Marquis Santee. Are you kidding me? Oh, what a paper champion. I'm going to tell you something. He's pinned more crazy Latina chicks than he ever has wrestlers. So I'm telling you, you're taking lessons from the wrong guy, brother.
Can we hang up on this guy? I mean,
oh, man.
This is horrible, man.
You know,
have you seen this guy's face? I've seen better pictures on iodine bottles.
Let me tell you something. I saw your nipple the other day. Lince Dorado pulled it out and was showing it to me after he bit the son of a gun off. Let me tell you something. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Oh, my God, another man biting your... Oh, that's... Oh.
He's dying here, guys. Cut him, please. Oh. All right, thanks for calling in. We'll send you your complimentary turtleneck.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. You wrestle like the Cubs play baseball. Let me tell you something. Oh.
You know what the funny thing is, though? Hang on a second. The funny thing is, due to the issues we're having, I can't even cut the line right now.
Well, I mean,
I can't cut the line.
Well,
so Maxwell, you're gonna have to ask the Stackman to kindly disconnect in order for us to proceed.
Stackman, we are almost done. We are almost done. You got your word in.
I'm gonna.
People know. Stop.
Yeah, I'm gonna disconnect just in deference to the host. But let me tell you something, Maxwell Chicago. Oh man, if they would let me wrestle, I'd take you down in a second. I'd snap you in two, brother. Nah, Stackman's out of here.
Cut that bitch off. Next caller.
All right, so
we had like 3 calls and we couldn't get to anybody, but we pick up the mentally handicapped.
Well, the funny thing is there was 2 calls that came into the queue, and for some reason, the first caller definitely disconnected. The second caller, I'm not sure what happened to. Third caller,
I think a few people wanted to know how to what phone number to call just to listen, but they didn't want to talk, and that's probably what happened.
Well, it's the same number, the 714-694-4101. So either way. That's the number to call into the show. I'm not sure what's going on with it there, but
that was horrible. How could you allow that on your show?
I got one more name game for you. And this one gives me great pleasure as a diehard St. Louis Cardinals fan. I want to ask you, last place Chicago Cubs.
Can we cut him off too? Can we cut a host?
Maybe.
Let me tell you something. I wasn't gonna cuss in this interview, but fuck you. All we need is a third baseman, a whole new rotation, a whole new bullpen. Yeah, all we need is a third baseman and the whole pitching staff replaced, and pitching coach, and bullpen coach.
And get rid of Starlin Castro.
No, he's the best player on our team. Yeah, well, you gave away Pujols, so put that in your pipe and smoke it.
We got rid of Pujols. I'm happy he's gone.
Yeah? What place are you guys in? Not first.
Yeah, but how many World Series do we have? I mean, how much of a drop-off do they have? They got Beltran. It's fine. When everybody gets healthy, they'll win the division.
Oh, how many World Series have you won back-to-back? 1907, 1908. Okay? So kick
how
some
many
shit.
have won since then?
I hate when people do that, when they go, oh, it's so a long time ago. You know, the Holocaust happened a long time ago. Does that mean it didn't happen?
Who won the World Series last year?
You know, Jesus was born a long time ago. I see a lot of people going to church these days.
Speaking of the Cardinals, we got another comment out of the chat room. Question is, did you see the Cardinals logo on Dorado's boot when he smacked you in the face?
From now on, I'm only taking questions from people.
Well, I think that wraps up the name game. That was probably one of the most interesting ones we've done since we've been doing the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour. So thank you for that, Maxwell Chicago.
Well, I was trying to. Everybody told me that everybody says just like the politically correct stuff. So I just wanted to see if I could spice it up a little bit. I didn't really say anything too bad. Do you think I said anything too bad tonight?
I mean, until you said the word "fuck" on the show, I mean, I don't think we had to censor anything. But we're still going to keep that in there. So that's going to be on the show forever. Just so you know that.
Oh, I should talk more about Jean-Claude Van Damme. Everybody, check out WWNLive.com. If you can't make it to St. Pete, Ybor, or Jacksonville this weekend, or Largo on Tuesday, FEW has a huge week of shows. Tuesday in Largo, Thursday in Ybor, Friday in St. Pete, and Saturday in Jacksonville. If you can't make those shows, everybody's complaining, oh, we want to see great shows. These are going to be the best of the best, and if you can't be there, WWNLive.com is where you can get the pay-per-view. I think it's not an arm and a leg to watch. I think it's very decent price. Affordable is what I mean, and you're going to see awesome wrestling on all 3 of these shows. I don't know if the Tuesday one's going to be on iPay-per-view either, but the Tuesday shows are fun if you like to drink and you want to see Bruce Santee knock somebody out. Those are fun. I'm going to be in Oregon again, September, Chicago again, maybe July, Maine again, August, and then I'm just going to be all over Florida. So for everybody who wants to come see me and the awesomeness that is me, you should check that out. WWN Live. WWNLive.com.
You are a busy
and
man, that's for sure.
And you guys should tweet and Facebook WWN Live.
We'll definitely get it out there, that's for sure. We're definitely going to get it out to our listeners and such on our Facebook and Twitter, and don't you worry.
Okay.
All right, we'll get you. Was there anything else you wanted to plug? I know you've also got a Twitter and Facebook. We've been plugging it throughout the show in our chat room. Do you want to go ahead and plug those on the show as well here?
At Henry Maxwell CHI for the Twitter, and Henry Maxwell Alvarez for the Facebook gimmick. See, the Stack Man, the dude is like he's really touched, bro. Touched by an angel. And he's like, that's when I was about to go into it. Everybody should check out WWN Live. So, everybody check out WWN Live. You're going to see the return of Tommy Taylor. Florida's like top heavyweight that's not named Bruce Santee. John Davis, Johnny Gargano, Chuck Taylor, Cole Cabana, El Generico, Maxwell Chicago. See, I fit in that group very easily. You name a bunch of indie stars, you throw your name in right at the end. Right at the end.
Right.
There. I fit, don't I? I fit with those guys. I can go.
You can. You certainly can. And you're on Facebook as well, right? So people can check you out at Henry Maxwell Chicago. That's your URL for Facebook, right?
Yeah, Henry Maxwell Chicago, but the name is Alvarez because I'm Cuban. And what was I going to say? Oh, also the Bears are going to have a big season this year. Jay Cutler, Brandon Marshall have been reunited after Brandon Marshall wasted his time in Miami. Also, the Blackhawks are going to win the Stanley Cup. I'm calling it right now, 2013 Stanley Cup champions. And the Cubs are going to win the World Series in 2014. So it's going to be that's very clever. No. It's going to be the Cubs in 2014 and both the Bears and the Blackhawks in 2013.
You know, I don't know how you're not getting booked for Ring Wars. I mean, you and Vito DiNucci would get along quite well. He's a big Chicago fan, too.
Yeah, but he's a White Sox guy.
Oh, that's right, he is.
He's a Southsider.
That's right.
I don't mix with them, you know.
Well, I guess you're not getting booked then, are you?
Well, I wasn't getting booked to begin with, you know.
Great stuff.
There's some shows, no matter what I could do to get, you know. Also, the Bulls are going to win the finals the next 3 years in a row.
You know, listen, I don't have enough sound bites to play for this kind of shit. I really don't.
No, I just want to put it on the record so when it actually does happen, maybe not the Bulls 3 years in a row. I'm trying to be realistic. The Bears and the Blackhawks are both going to win next season. It's not that.
Okay. All right. Well, we know what.
The Cubs are going to be 14 or 15.
What I will do.
The Bulls have the talent to have another dynasty, which the Miami Heat will never have.
Wow. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate this. I'm going to save it in its own separate file, and I'll play this back to you. I may even post it on YouTube. That way I can just throw it right on your page when it doesn't happen, because it's not going to.
Well, on the Heat, those three guys are never going to keep getting along. And that coach is not – I'm surprised that coach has even survived, because he's like the sellout of the century. Hey, well, the guys are crying in the locker room. Oh, thanks, coach. Why don't you go tell the world?
Oh, wow. You know what? We'll have to do this again another time for sure. If you're up for it, we'd love to have you back on again in the future.
Well, if you need somebody to pick up the ratings, you know, you guys can give me a call again, and I'll see what I can do.
Awesome. Now, before we go, it's time to do that drop you promise for the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour, and a little singing may be involved.
All right, I can do that.
All right, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
It's time for the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour with Maxwell Chicago. Yeah.
That was quite an original there, so thank you so much for that. That was really funny.
I didn't know you wanted freaking Hark Hear the Bells or something like that, you know?
No, that was great. That was great. I had to put our, you know, I had to go to mute us so we didn't laugh while you were doing it, because it was.
It's not funny. That's talent.
It is funny though. It's good. I mean, we liked it, and You know, we had some people in the chat room who wanted to hear you sing, so the archive is going to get hit. I can tell you that right now. A lot of hits on the archive, so, you know, we'll continue to update you. You know, I will shoot you a text every time we get to the next 25 hits. That way you know that Maxwell Chicago is ratings. You'll definitely know that.
It's true, and my dad sells insurance.
He does sell insurance.
Do you want to throw out his insurance company in case
I don't think he would appreciate me doing. I don't think he'll appreciate me doing that. he'll be trying to sell something. Like, oh, I don't really want to buy insurance. I just wanted to see if you were really Maxwell Chicago's dad. My mother sells doorknobs. My dad sells insurance, and my mother sells doorknobs, and that's how they get by.
Well, you know what? We would love to have a doorknob sponsorship, so keep that in mind for.
Well, I will. The only way you can go through the doors of life are through a knob.
Oh wow! All right, so we're going to wrap things up. So, again, Maxwell Chicago, thanks so much for spending your night here with us. This is probably one of our personal favorites, so thanks so much for doing the interview here. Greatly appreciate it, and we'd love to have you back on sometime in the future.
All right, well, thank you guys. I had fun.
All right, take care, man.
Thanks,
all right, that was Maxwell Chicago live here on the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour. We're going to take just a quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we return, we are going to wrap things up here live on the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour on Blog Talk Radio.
This is Buggy Nova, and you should all be listening to Do Your Job Radio right now on Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour, live on Blog Talk Radio. I am the ConKaiserdor. Alongside with me is old school Avis Hathaway. We were just joined by one of our most funniest, original, and talented guests, Maxwell Chicago. What a great interview, old school. I got to tell you, that was one of my personal favorites.
That was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. He's definitely a fun guy to talk to, so hopefully we can have him back on. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite ones.
Absolutely. That was a great interview. So we thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate that, as always, here on the show. And also, real quick, we did want to mention that former guest and friend of the show, the very talented and beautiful Buggy Nova, recently accepted a WWE developmental contract. So she's heading in to FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, in the Orlando area, and she is now a part of WWE. Wow, old school. That's our first.
Yeah, that's great. You know, we had her on. We told everybody, keep an eye on her. You may be seeing her on Mondays or Fridays before too long. And sure enough, she got the call. She's been signed. She's reporting to FCW. If you don't already do so, you can follow her on Twitter at Buggy Nova and send her congratulations. It's a long time coming. She definitely deserves it, so keep an eye on her, and huge congratulations to her.
Indeed. What an awesome experience that'll be for Buggy Nova. So make sure you keep your eye on her. As we said so on the show, we spoke about her and how the potential she had to be in WWE. She had the tryout match, which is all well and good. You know, a lot of talent may get tryout matches. However, only a select few get that developmental contract. That's a huge win. Great stuff. Make sure you keep your eye on her. And also keep your eye on us to Do Your Job Wrestling Hours. You never know who the next star could be. You never know who can get signed to WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. You just never know. So make sure you stay tuned to us for all of our most up-to-date guests we're going to have on the show. Speaking of which, July 1st, our first guest of July, old school, we have a return of Maryland Championship Wrestling heavyweight champion of the world, the Samoan Tsunami, Nui Tofinga, is making his return. How big is that?
Well, just like him, that is huge. And if anybody missed our first interview with Newey, you're welcome to go back. We urge you to check out the archive. He's a great guy, great wrestler, and we are super excited to have him back. It's been, I think, over a year now since we had him on, and, a lot's gone on with him, so it'll be great to catch up.
Indeed, and also, we mentioned before we had a female guest coming on July 8th, but we did not announce who it was. However, if you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, you already know on July 8th we're going to have hardcore Heather Owens coming on the show. She's tearing it up in the Midwest, so we're excited to have her on. She's a real throwback to that tough girl style wrestling, so very cool to have her on. She is old school.
Indeed, she is. She harkens back to, the Luna Vachon type days. She is the anti-diva, and if you haven't checked her out, do a Google search. Check out Hardcore Heather Owens. Pretty cool stuff. You'll see some great wrestling, and we'll be happy to talk to her for the first time on July the 8th.
Of course we will. And July 15th, we finally get a day off. We'll be off that Sunday, so no show July 15th. July 22nd, we're going to make our return with the King of Florida, Francisco Ciazzo. He'll be joining us, and that's pretty exciting. He's very well respected on the independent scene, especially in Florida, so we're very excited to have Francisco Ciazzo join us on July 22nd.
Yep, should be a lot of fun. King of Florida is another first-time guest. Anybody who follows Florida wrestling should be very familiar with Francisco Ciazzo, so that'll be a lot of fun.
July 29th, we're going to have to reinforce the Do Your Job studios here, both north and south, as we're going to be joined with FOW, Future of Wrestling, the Tag Team Champions, the Hardliners. The Hardliners are coming on the show. Wow, those guys are mammoths. They're going to be coming on the Do Your Job Wrestling Hour, so you don't want to miss that, as we will definitely have to reinforce our studio.
Yeah, that one's going to be huge, both figuratively and literally. Those are two giant gentlemen. And speaking of FOW, in just a few weeks, they're going to be doing their show in Waynesboro, North Carolina. We had Tommy Vandal and Chuck Arn on last week to talk about that. So please make sure, if you're in North Carolina, check that out. They're a great promotion. They're going to put on a great show.
They certainly are. Also, just announced as well, Old School, we're tearing it up this spring and summer. I told you, I feel like I'm on an infomercial right now. I'm trying to sell you something.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. We have August 5th. August 5th, VIP Cassidy Riley will be on the show, former TNA, former WWE talent, and now the tag team partner of Wes Briscoe in NWA Ring Warriors. Cassidy Riley will be our special guest August 5th. So that night will be VIPs too, Old School.
It's true, but you don't need VIP status to listen, so just tune in. We got tons of great shows we just laid out for you. You never know who's going to be next. You really just never know. As this show continues to grow, it continues to snowball, never know who's going to be on.
You never know how many irons are in the fire, like you'd like to say, Old School.
It's true, and you know what? There are plenty of irons in the fire. A lot of cool other irons in the fire, unrelated to guests, but related to the show as well, that we'll be happy to announce pretty soon. So just stay tuned, Facebook, Twitter, etc.
You know it. We have tons of stuff coming up, things we can't even announce yet because they're later in August and further into the fall, so we'll get there. We definitely will. So great show tonight. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Again, a big thanks to Maxwell Chicago for being our special guest tonight, as it was a pleasure having him on the show. So for Old School Avis Hathaway and myself, the ConKaiserdor, we're going to say goodnight, and we will see you next week with the MCW Maryland Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, the Samoan Tsunami, Nui Tofinga. Good night, everybody.